I'm with one of my favorite people here in Denver, entrepreneur, friend, sister, soul sister, Anna. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, hello. I'm so happy and grateful to be here.
Oh my gosh. So, you have so many things going on. You are my HD person. Human design is what we're going to be talking about today. I shout the rooftops like about you, like tell everyone about what you're doing, your book, your new book you just launched in the world, your podcast, the services that you offer. It's so needed and it's lacking, and I want to dive into a lot of good juicy questions I have for you. I'm so excited you're here.
Let's do it. I'm so excited to talk about this. And like I was sharing with you before we started that there is something that I've gone through recently that like closed the loop for me energetically on my fertility and
Mhm.
becoming a mom journey. And it
Mhm.
literally was the realization there was a piece of it because I didn't know or was listening to my human design that like
Mm.
I was like whole like all of these things make sense
Mm.
now.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I don't know the extent of your fertility journey. So I want you to share, and the connection between human design and fertility. People might be listening and be like, okay, what is the correlation? But everything you write about in human design and creating an aligned business and living life from an aligned place, like this carries over into multiple areas of our life.
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
with business, your book is Create Your Aligned Business, and it's to help entrepreneurs really, have a blueprint that shows them they're on the right path, right? And everything that I'm about to is getting in soulful alignment on your fertility path.
Hmm.
And I just invite you to kind of open up like I never expected to be a fertility coach, and I don't know if you ever expected to be stepping into this work.
No.
Looking back and connecting the dots, but maybe share a little bit about, we can define what human design is. And I just would love to hear like how it's gotten you to where you are now.
Such a loaded question, but human design is defined as the science of differentiation.
Hmm.
And at its core, they talk about it's a mix of modern and ancient wisdom to help us understand ourselves better. It's rooted in astrology, the Kabbalah, I Ching, quantum physics, and
Hmm.
truly how I found it. I always knew I would be involved in helping people grow their businesses. I But even before I was ever in the world that I'm in now, I run the spiritual business incubator. I helped my parents who are immigrants from Poland like work their business because I spoke more English at age 10 than they did.
Wow.
And then they sent me to all of their friends' houses as in like high school and college. I was studying business
Yeah.
to help their businesses. Well, then I knew I'd always have a business of my own, but I
Hmm.
didn't want to work as hard as my parents did. They owned motels, lots of brick and mortar, that like traditional immigrant story of like work really hard and do it all yourself is like was deeply rooted in my being.
Hmm.
So when I started my own entrepreneur journey, which I did, there's this catalyst moment, I think, for a lot of us moms. At that point, my children were in the world, which we'll talk about the journey to get them into this
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
But I knew that uh, I I wanted a different life than I had before.
Mm.
Um, and that was one of the moments of like, someone said human design is a thing. You need to know about it, but I didn't learn anything else.
Hmm.
And so if you just like, you can Google human design or on the incubator's website, you can pull a free chart.
Yeah.
It explained so much about me when I looked at the chart. But actually, which is a story that I haven't told that many times, is when I saw my chart, I was like, this is wrong. This is not me.
Mm.
Because I was so out of alignment in many parts of my life, my being. I was like the like poster child people pleaser, making sure everyone else was getting what they needed, saying yes to things that I didn't want to do because I didn't want to upset someone. Like it was just, and I'm a 5-2 generator. For those of you that
Hmm.
know human design, like I am built to solve problems and have the energy to do it, and also the
Hmm.
education to do it.
Yeah.
I have a master's degree in business. I love learning. And how this all relates is that just because I was capable of doing something didn't mean that I was meant to do it. And in my own journey of discovering myself and in understanding human design, realizing that I was not in alignment, first of all, and accepting it were the hardest parts of the journey.
Mm.
And, you think about like you see this chart, even like whether you look at an astrology chart or even I've taken Myers-Briggs, strengths, all the things.
Yeah.
And what I felt differently about human design was that I may not have I might have thought that parts of this were wrong. And also the parts of it that I resonated with was like, this knows me better than I know myself. Even
Wow.
the parts that I was like, this is wrong. When I thought about it, I'm like, oh, they say this is my gift, but I get bullied every time I do this. Or they say that I've got all this energy, except I keep being sucked dry of my life force energy doing things I don't want to do.
Mm.
And all of that to say, like to start this episode, is
Yeah.
when we're trying to get on this path of alignment, because
Mm.
human design is actually first about personal development. I've been really leading the charge in how to apply it to business in a practical way. But finding out, like on a piece of paper, on this
Yeah.
thing, what is and isn't in alignment and putting words to it versus the feeling that I had in my body that I didn't understand was telling me I was out of alignment, it was a huge breakthrough moment for me.
Mm. I know you are leading the way. Like you wrote the book that you didn't see out there to help other entrepreneurs in not even just starting a business, but like for anyone who is creating, birthing, like you've poured your heart into this. And I'm still like just integrating all of what you're sharing. I've learned so much from you. And you're right. Like you do combine the strategy with the soul. And we need both, just like as I believe in fertility, right? It's a strategic approach with the science and the soul. And one of the things you write about is like having a clear intention and direction and where you're going. That's so key. Like, can you speak a little bit about that? And for anyone listening and exploring human design, like based on your type, what can our types reveal about us? I have a lot of different kind of topics I want to cover, and that intention and having clear vision is one of them. What do you have to say about having a clear vision?
Well, the first thing that I want to say is the first time someone asked me, what do I really want my life to look like really,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't know. So, because whether I never was asked or I never really sat down to do it, I had this very like, here's the steps, go to school, get married, have kids,
Yeah.
go climb the corporate ladder, do all like, it was this like predetermined story. And in human
Mm.
design, I will like high level talk about the types is the energy. It's called your energy type. It explains how your aura flows, operates,
Mm.
and it explains how much energy you have and how it moves. As a generator, which I'll explain all of the types, but a
Yeah.
huge fundamental piece, whether you're a generator or a manifesting generator, it's to love what you do so
Mm.
much that you feel the fire in your belly and you cannot like you would wake up at 5 a.m. and you'd go to bed at midnight and like probably in the middle of the night you're dreaming
Yeah.
about it. And I realized that I didn't have that. I'm smart, capable, competent problem solver who had energy, and that I was using that energy to fulfill other people's dreams, to do things that, yes, I could do, but I didn't love doing.
Mm.
So, to give us this like broad idea of all of the types, I'll start with manifestors because they're the ones that are here to initiate and inform. Like they are the spark. If you think of a like firework with a long fuse, they're
Mm.
the flash of the light that starts things happening. And if you are a manifester out there, if you want to get a chart, you can get it at www.spiritualbusinessincubator.com/HD charts. They're free to get like very basic information. The manifestors are here to tell us what needs to happen, what their vision is. Well, their aura is the words that are used are closed and repelling. And it's not that they're like these repelling, horrible people. My husband's a manifester. We have peer friends that are manifestors.
Yeah.
They're like amazing, heartful people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But their job is to start something that doesn't exist.
Mm.
So when they do that, whether we're doing it as a kid, you're seeing that, or in your professional life or your life, whatever, your marriage, your connection, whatever, all of these things, it's possible that you are visioning something that people are not used to or ready for.
Mm.
And so having that first deep knowing, the question was right about like your path and your intention.
Yeah.
As a manifester, you not only are manifesting, creating, initiating for yourself, you are doing it for the collective, for your family, for people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important for you to figure out, like, what is the vision that you have in relation to what you're trying to start in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Projectors, which I also want to throw out, manifestors is about 10% of the population. Projectors, which makes about 22% of the population, these people are designed to see and know how to do things super efficiently and have this like deep innate wisdom. And also their aura, it's like they call it penetrating, like focused and penetrating. So it's like if you see someone who's like telling you all the things that you need to do and you're not ready for it, you might, right? Like it's possible that you've built this story or experience where when I share my ideas, they're not wanted, or I see the best way to do things. And then no one's listening to me is a really common. I'm not seen for what I'm bringing. And it's really important when we're setting intentions, if you're a projector, to recognize your own wisdom. And from an aura perspective, like you're also meant to rest a lot. So whether it's on your fertility journey, your business journey, your life journey, like they say that projectors need to like be having a nap every day or like a really, I was like, I feel like all of us need naps,
Yeah.
but
Oh, yeah.
also as a generator, when I love what I'm doing, I'm like, let's go. There's no naps needed. But in the rest period is where that wisdom happens, where like all of the things they're seeing like are coming together. And so having this intention as a projector to see yourself, to trust your own wisdom, and that the people that are meant for it, right for it, are going to hear it and see you for it. Then generators and manifesting generators are similar with a couple of differences. Yep, I'm a generator, you're a manifesting generator. So we have open and enveloping auras, both of us do. And it's like they like the warm hug, like come in,
Yeah.
which can also be seen as overwhelming and overbearing.
Okay.
And the way that like we are to set intentions to move forward is to truly love what we do with every fiber of our being, because then that open and enveloping aura is attracting in people who like are filled with life. That's what they say, generators and manifesting generators, which each make up about 30 to 35%. So they've been saying, like when I read the stats, it changes as people are born, but we're in that like 65% to 70% of the population is generators or mani-gens.
Okay.
Because we are the actual fuel that fuels others to do things. And if we do not love what we do not have the fuel for them or for ourselves. And after I finish this, like this leads into my own fertility journey, is realizing how much I was doing things for others that I didn't love, and my body was starting to tell me.
Wow.
The last type is reflectors, and they make up about 1% of the population. And the reflector aura is all about like community, and they're absorbing. So they are reflect back to us, 1% of the population, like they absorb everyone's stuff and then amplify it back. So if you're a reflector and listening to this, and we're talking about intention, it's so important to put yourself in an environment that nourishes you and that doesn't put pressure on you, because you're going to amplify whatever is around you. So if you're in a bad environment, which we all do this in different ways, reflectors just do this at a really high level,
Mhm.
um, then what's happening inside of you is this like disalignment, like this just like distress because you're taking on so much stuff that doesn't feel good in your body.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for breaking that down. I've just learned so much from you and learning when you look at a chart, it can be kind of intimidating at first, but you've helped break it down where like parts that are colored in are gifts to give, things that are not colored in are gifts to receive. Do I have that right?
Yeah, exactly. I love to say that. So when you look at the chart, it kind of looks like it's called a body graph. So it kind of looks like the
Uh-huh.
chakras with a human bodies, like shapes kind of
Yeah.
thing, with numbers on it and like these connection pathways called channels. And exactly like you said, where the things, this is actually even what I love, because like I have to do everything and be everything for everyone. Human
Mm,
design taught me very clearly that I have gifts to give and I have places to receive. And that's not that because this part is not colored in that I am bad or wrong or whatever. It's
mm,
just that I'm not meant to do those things, even if I was capable of them, like as a smart person who's willing to learn,
mhm,
but I don't love it or it doesn't come
mhm.
naturally to me.
Yeah.
And it feels hard to do and not making ourselves wrong for it. That was one of my favorite lessons in human design of looking at the chart, the body
Mhm,
graph, and seeing the colored in and the not. It's this message of you are not meant to do everything on your own or alone. And how do you surround yourself with people who you can give to with full love and that you get to receive from in the same way?
mm. Yeah, it's like this ever evolving like I just want to go deeper and deeper and when I learn one thing it takes me like down a path of like discovering I mean environments is one thing, right? Like you've helped me become aware of the importance of each profile type has an environment and can you explain it like that we thrive in that is
Yeah. So
optimal?
the environments are not connected to the profile types.
Oh, okay.
So like the
Right.
environments are mountains, caves, kitchens, markets, shores, and now I'm forgetting the last one. Markets, kitchens, caves, shores. It'll come back to me during
Yeah,
this
it'll come back.
episode, but there's 6 of them. And that when we are in the environment, not just the physical environment that we're looking at, but
Like
the
energetic.
representation of it, the
Mhm.
like right, a markets is about like smells and
That's
textures.
me and the market.
Yep.
Yeah. Mhm.
Versus something like a shores is about the in between. So it's like
Mm.
dusk and dawn, right? It could be hype doing things like you want something cold and hot on your plate, things
Oh,
like that. So the point of the environment is when you put yourself in an environment or in a situation that is aligned with your unique environment, regardless of what your energy type is, you're
mhm,
going to feel good and be sort of like lit up more than you would
mhm.
be if you were in an environment that felt good. And we've experienced this all, right? Like
Yeah.
if you are in a room that you're like, oh, that doesn't feel good to be in here, there's a lot of reasons for that. But one of them could be like, oh, this feels really constricting and the space is just isn't right for you. Whereas
Yeah.
what I say from whether that's a business perspective or friendships or connections with people is that the environment that we are from our human designer that is within our unique human design, people are attracted to us for what we do because of that environment. So
Mhm.
an analogy that I like to give, I work with a lot of healers and they like someone who is a caves environment, which is all about like think one way in, one way out, lots of protection, lots of security. They like intimate conversations, more of the one-on-one work, going really deep with fewer people, maybe, or just like a really protective space. Whereas you and I are both markets environments. And even from a
Yeah.
healing perspective, it's like, look at all of the assortment of modalities I have. And
Uh-huh.
I like doing it in a huge room with 100 people. And you're like,
Yeah.
how do you do that?
Yeah.
So how this, I think, all relates back to this intentionality of our conversation is how are we like looking at things around us and comparing versus how can we look within ourselves and using
Yeah.
design as a tool to say, I like working in big groups of people, and that's okay.
Mm,
Not to make ourselves feel bad for that. Or I like working in intimate containers, or
mm,
being in, not having 100 friends and going to every party every weekend,
mhm,
every Christmas event, or, all the things.
mhm.
So it just allows us to have some language, have some ideas of who we are, what makes us feel good. And then we can take small steps to become more and more in alignment with that,
Mhm.
to live out like more healthy, thriving life.
It's so good. Yeah, I just love it. It gives us a really deep insight into ourselves, and who doesn't want to like continue learning more about who they are and like what we're here to do and serve and create. And legacy is a big part of also what you're about. Would you what do
Absolutely.
you want to share on that one?
Um, so many things.
Mhm.
So where I think the root of it is, my parents came to America from Poland and to create a better life for their family. And I saw how they did that, being working very hard,
Mm,
having us as their kids actually work very hard to help them. And it also like to sacrifice everything you are to get it. And on my own journey, it was something like, I don't want to have to work
mm,
100 hours a day and not be present for my kids' lives. And I also don't want to have to do things that I don't like, but
mhm,
I had these old stories in there. And so on my journey of not just discovering human design, but self-discovery and healing and all of these things, I realized that like I have the exact same core desire as
mm,
my parents did, as right, to create a better life for my family. Except I'm educated in this country. I understand more about healing and like the dynamics of the nervous system, and be present with my children and all of these things,
mhm.
that it's not just about making money to survive. It's about creating a life where we thrive. And it's so interesting, brings me to this like story of my
Yeah.
full circle moment,
Yeah.
because I experienced 4 miscarriages total, 3 before my first daughter was born, and 1 between the 2. And um, I now know, and over this last weekend, I had the full circle moment, which I'll tell
Wow.
y'all in a minute. But when I had those first 3 miscarriages, I was told, like, this is normal. It happens. And I'm like, well, Dr. Google says that the stats on 3 in a row are like 0.03% is what this is not normal. This is not healthy.
Mm,
And I was not yet awakened on my spiritual path, on any sort of healing journey. And I was climbing the ladder. I was like working super hard, pushing my body, pushing myself to do anything and everything, like the story with my parents,
mm,
to achieve this like idea of success that I perceived would give me the life that I wanted. And legitimately out of desperation, I was like, what else can I do? I know I meant to be a mother. Like I've got stellium in Cancer. If y'all are astrology people, I got 4 signs in Cancer. I am born to be a mother.
mm,
In any way, whether that is to a child or my mother, my friends and family, like
yeah.
it's in me. So I was introduced in my like small rural community to the one and only acupuncturist that then also did like fertility work through her acupuncture. And there was like a whole holistic wellness center that she created. And it was honestly, I drove by this almost every single day, did not see it and it was on the way to my job that I worked at for 10 years. Like it was wild to think like, you've been here this whole time. And
Wow. Wow.
when I was introduced to acupuncture and started going down, like, I didn't even understand, right? Then they went to Reiki, and then they went to like homeopathy and all of these other things that I didn't even know I had anything to heal.
Mm,
Um, so on that, what I first learned is that this was all before human design still, but I learned that I was doing things that my body was not liking.
Mm.
Eventually, when I learned human design, I realized it's because I was saying yes to all these things that my sacral was saying no to. And what's really interesting, because I know like the community that listens to this is
Mm.
um like spiritual, and like the manifestation stuff is like stuff we can talk about. So my
Mhm.
first full circle moment was in the last week from when we're recording this, which was the 9-year anniversary of my first loss.
Mm.
And you and I attended an event together
Mhm.
where on the day before the event, which was the actual anniversary day, which
Mhm.
I'm like, I've got 2 kids now, they're 6 and 8, like, um,
Mhm.
all of these things. I'm like, it's fine. I've healed all the things. Well, on that date, even though I didn't remember it was that date, I had a hysterical nervous system breakdown, cry. Like it was like my body was remembering
Wow.
and what I went through. And that didn't happen every year, right? Like I always I was like, oh, I hate like October, November, because it was
Yeah.
but I had this like full dark night of the soul, ego death moment. And the one thing I remembered is um my family, my kid, not even my family, my kids are not safe with me. And I was like, whoa, where did that come
Oh.
from?
Mhm.
And I realized that it was that old story that was still living in my body of like, before I knew, and I'm like feeling emotional about this, like before I knew about human design, before I knew why any of these things happen, whether that is medical or miracle, right? Like if the
Mhm.
universe is trying to send you a message,
Mhm.
um, that a story that landed in me with that first miscarriage was my children are not safe. My body is not a safe vessel for
Mm.
creation.
Mm.
Well, we then went to the event where there was a lot of like somatic movement
Yeah.
and things. And I believe that there's also like the timing of all of this was just so divinely aligned. 9 is like
Mm.
a numerology, the
Yeah.
year, right? It's like
Yeah.
this like closure point. And there's all these things happening. And during one of the like facilitations
Mhm.
it was the spinal energetics one.
Yes. Yes. With Mandy.
And she's having us envision these things. And I had this like very clear message that like our connection that happened, which was if I didn't have that first miscarriage, I would not be in that room.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that crazy? Because
Wow.
I would have had the baby, stayed on that path. And like I believe that what's meant for you will not
Mm.
miss you.
Mm.
But it was a catalyst moment for me to be like, something big is out of alignment in my life.
Mm.
That then led me to leaving my job, finally starting the business that I was like, I always knew would come.
Yeah.
And like, then I found human design, which helped further and further and further show me places that I was out of alignment. One of which was living in the city that I lived in, which is a small rural town. And that so many people love it. I'm a markets. I'm like extrovert. Like I was like, I need to live in the city, which we now
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
It was 3 years after like really recognizing that like all the things landed
Mhm.
together.
Mhm.
But to have that moment of
Mm.
I shamed myself and like was so mad, even though my kids were here, but my body held on to it, my psyche held on to it, to then realizing that it was the universe telling me, like, you're not in the right place and it is not time for this.
Mm.
And so I was in acupuncture for about a year and like continuing on before um, my daughter came into the world. And like all of this healing, shedding stuff that I did over the last few years to then my son to come into the world, for us to like recalibrate our
Mm.
lives to be able to move to the city
Yeah.
where now I feel like I'm thriving, I am
Yeah.
loving like our relationships with our children, our marriage, like all of these things are better because I needed such a big wake up call,
Mm.
whether I needed it or however we want to talk about that, but like to
Yeah.
have that realization at that event that I
Mm.
would not be in this room, like whatever, however I believe it, whether it
Mhm.
was like a download that came to me, a connection point, a closure point,
Yeah.
um, because I was still holding that like shame and guilt in my body and like actually
Mm.
rage probably at my body
Yeah.
to having this moment of like finally closure.
Mm.
And even though I thought I had had closure because the kids were here, there was something else that needed to like
Mm.
process through. And um, even to tie it back to human design, like
Mm.
it was all of these lessons of I was not in alignment. I was not in alignment. And I
Mm.
didn't know. I was living the things in human design that we learn that tell us and signal that you're not in alignment. Like, that's why I love it, and I feel like saying my job is to spread the good word of human design, whether that's in a business perspective, a life perspective,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it tells you, if you feel this, you are not in alignment. How
Yeah.
you move forward on that is like, if it's in a fertility journey, come hang out with Lisa. If it's in a business
Mhm.
journey, come hang out with
Yeah.
me. But I was feeling the feelings, I just didn't know that what they meant or that there was a path beyond that. And now, no, like I say, knowing better, when I
Mhm.
feel those feelings, the feelings of frustration for a generator or anger. So generator or mani-gens
Mhm.
are frustration. Manifestors will feel anger. Projectors will feel bitterness. Reflectors will feel disappointment.
Mhm.
It's not that like I'm a bad person for feeling frustrated. It's like my body and the universe are telling me something is not right here.
Mhm.
So, how can I start to shift my environment, shift
Mhm.
what I'm saying yes to, like
Mhm.
show up in a way that does actually feel good? And what I now see is like the mother that I am now to my kids is such a different woman than the mother I would have been like was 8 years ago when my daughter first came into this world. So,
Oh my gosh.
it's the type of life that, and it's even the like the beginning, right? We just moved here, but it's the life that I envisioned for our family that like I don't know if we would have gotten here if I hadn't experienced what I did.
Oh my gosh. I'm so grateful you just opened up and shared all of that. And you're the catalyst that an awakening that reminded you of how kind of everything is divinely orchestrated. Like,
Mhm.
and you did follow that nudge, like this doesn't feel right. And all the gifts of human design. I mean, there are many, and I have a million more questions, and I know we could chat forever. But what you're just sharing, it's like all of they're clues helping guide us, right? And when things fall on our path that maybe look like they're being miss a setback, really it could be guiding us in the right direction.
Mhm.
Um,
And something I would just want to
yeah.
share with everyone as I've gotten more in my spiritual journey, I've had
Hmm.
Vedic astrologers tell me, like I said nothing to them except they had the date, time, and location of my birth.
Yeah.
They were like, "Did you have fertility challenges in this window of time?"
Oh, wow.
And I was like, "How do you know that from my chart?" So like, I'll
Oh,
connect you with some of my peeps, but
yes. Oh my
um,
gosh. I need to talk with them too.
because in the beginning of this journey, I was so mad that it
Mhm.
wasn't happening,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? I was mad at myself. I was mad at my friends who were getting pregnant around me. I was like, there's
Mhm.
all of this. And like I said, that was all pre my awakening. And so those of you listening, I am so like happy that you're here and having the conversations in this way
Mhm.
around divine timing, around all of these things, because I do so fundamentally believe it
Mhm.
now that when things are not happening the way that I imagine them, it is an invitation to surrender. And I now have enough proof in different parts of my life, my business, my family,
Mhm.
that it just means it's not time yet.
Yeah.
Because if you desire it, if you've got that calling on your heart, like that, I believe it will be yours. It's
Mhm.
just like, what can we do to support ourselves, put ourselves in the best physical positions, environments, mental positions, like spiritual, like all of these things,
Mhm.
so that we can gain whatever wisdom and lesson and or healing that we need to be ready for the time that it comes.
Thank you for sharing that. Yes, and your framework, I should say the chart. I know you give a basic chart like for
Mhm.
free, and then I went on to purchase your more comprehensive chart, which is incredible. It like really explores in depth your individual blueprint, if you will. So I want to encourage anyone listening to take advantage of, Anna's offerings and your book. It's so incredible. Create Your Aligned Business, your podcast. Um, Remind me of the title of your podcast. I have it in front of me.
It's called Design Your Aligned Business.
Design Your Aligned Business. But everything you're creating, and I know there's more projects in the works, which I don't know. Are you open in sharing what you're creating, or is that kind of on the down low?
I mean, the big thing that I'm working on
Yeah.
is really turning the spiritual business incubator
Yeah.
into, this was just recently said to me, the Hogwarts of business schools.
Yes. Love that.
So it's not just me in there, like coaching and teaching and
Yeah.
doing the things, really bringing in lots of different human design, gene keys,
Mm,
astrology experts. Like we're facilitating strategic planning next in this month,
yeah.
with an astrologer. This is how much I believe in astrology. I
Yeah.
do not make business decisions for next year on dates until I've talked to an astrologer, because of my
Right.
fertility lessons that I've had.
Yeah.
Like it's all kind of
Wow.
connected. Bringing in resident experts, like think faculty members,
Mm,
experts in tax, law, finance, marketing, like building a school, like the new age of business schools for those
so
of us
good.
that want more than just strategy, but we want that true soulful connection.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Watching you evolve and grow and follow in your path that you're meant to do, it's amazing. It's the best. So I'm just so
Thank you.
honored to be in this space with you and community and sisterhood. How can everyone follow you and connect with you more?
I would love to connect with you on LinkedIn or Instagram, or kind of the two main places that
Mhm.
I love to hang out. And yeah, check out the book. It's available on Amazon. We hit #1 bestseller in 24 hours, which also was its own sort of healing, showing of alignment, that this is the
Yes.
place to be. And I'm just grateful to get the message out about human design.
You're amazing. Love you, Anna. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful.